Hey, welcome to Widow Too Soon. I am Mark Massaro. I'm here with my friend and co-host, Michelle Bader. What's happening? Do you like the way I introduced you?
I did. Vader, like Darth Vader or Mater. I used to say that when I would be a substitute teacher, depending on the age, to help them, Anyways, I'm good. Here we are, second week of January already, second week of 2022. That's gone by fast.
Crazy.
Already. It is like time.
Have you had to write it down on a piece of paper yet?
I haven't. I've gotten it right every time so far.
Really?
I'm sure I'll mess it up sometime.
I think I'm still going to write 2020 if
2020, you're like a few years behind.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
It always happens after a decade passes.
Yes. So let's see. What have I done since the last podcast?
What have you done since Y2K?
A lot. I literally remember that. Do you?
I do.
Like 10 or something, but
yeah, waiting for the power to turn off.
I remember it was 1999. In case you guys are young and don't know, well, if you're widows, you probably are older enough to understand Y2K. Everybody thought the world was ending in the year 2000.
You could not get bottled water. You could not get canned food.
Kind of like COVID, like a little
kind
bit.
Kind of like COVID with toilet paper.
Scarcity. Yeah, I was at a New Year's Eve party. Had the 1999 glasses. And
did you party like it was 1999?
Not really. No. And I think my boyfriend at the time was with me. And then at like the year 2000, we're all like just waiting for something dramatic to happen, and nothing did. It was kind of like a letdown a little bit. Where were you during Y2K?
I was at a friend's house. My friend Sean. He had a New Year's party. Honestly, we didn't think anything was going to happen. So we weren't like worried about, we just had like a normal, because I had to be, I'm not good at math. I think I was 19 years old.
Oh, I was 20. That's what I was thinking. You were
okay.
Right. A little bit older.
Maybe. I was going to guess you were in like 5th grade or something. Right. So yeah, that's what I was doing. I actually had a couple of friends that started dating on New Year's Eve, and they were together for like 5 years. On that New Year's Eve party is when they got together. So I always remembered that. Mm-hmm. They're not together anymore, but I thought that was funny. So yeah, today we're talking about Y2K.
We're taking it way back.
I'm just teasing. What have you been up to since we last recorded?
Y2K. You had me all in the Y2K zone. But let's just celebrate the fact that for December, January, and February, and the first few days of March, we're the same age. Let's just celebrate.
Yeah.
Celebrate that for a fact.
We're the same age right now.
We're 29.
That's 29. Right. We're both 29.
Until I have a birthday in March. Anyways, side note. No, real note. We're talking about what has happened. Okay, so last week we talked about I got back from visiting Joel in Louisiana, and it's just been like back into life, and it's been a little bit like hard getting to spend 5 days with him and then going back to like looking at him on a screen. It's been a little difficult. But you know what, we have great communication because it's like we spend out literally hours, and it's just talking, and it's building a great foundation. So that's good. Something exciting, I don't think I've told you yet. So Hayden had been accepted to Portland Bible College, and then this week the basketball coach said we have a spot on the team for you next year. So
nice.
So he hasn't decided for sure, but he's very excited that for sure. We weren't sure before, they hadn't told him, but it looks like he could go play basketball there. So that's a big deal in our world. And he's like,
for sure.
You think Daddy would be proud? I'm like, I think Daddy is proud. Like, I think he can, God's gonna let him share in this special moment, So
that's cool. Yeah.
That was awesome. And then, I've dealt with some TikTok haters and some things in the past week that have been difficult, but just like I said in one of my videos, you gotta shake it off. I'm doing the motions for those of you that cannot see, and I have a little video where I shake it off. So and then just trying to get focused with my life and where I want to go with like speaking and writing, and then I'm also thinking about tutoring again. Like, I love working with kids, so just like a lot of stuff going on, but really happy to be here today. Like, I love doing our podcast, and thank you for all of you listening that, especially when you reach out and let us know that it's helping you. Like, that really keeps us motivated, and we are growing, and just thankful to be where we are today. So what about you?
Yeah.
What have you been up to since Y2K or last week? Whichever you want to answer.
Well, I don't know if you know this or not, since Y2K, I've become widowed. Oh, and
Yeah,
I got
me
married.
too.
I got
Oh, yeah.
married since then too.
Yep, both of those were me
Now,
too.
lately, well, I have been extremely busy.
Yeah.
I have been packing and listing all of my possessions online
Mhm.
for sale. Things that, you know, I don't want to, I've been dealing with a lot of lowballers, which is always fun.
Mm.
You list something for like $500 and they're like, I'll give you 50. Like, dude, get out of here. So been dealing with that, but I'm ahead of schedule, which is great. And
Nice.
very normal for me. Just
Mhm.
as when my mind is like set
Yeah.
on something, I just become incredibly focused. And so I've been working tirelessly to, you know, get my house ready to move. I Well, I don't want to share their business, but I got some good news. That I'll just say I will have a place to go in Tennessee,
Yay.
which is nice.
You won't be homeless. I'm happy
That's
for you and the kids.
Yeah, so I won't be homeless, right? That's a good thing. My kids are really excited for the
Yay.
road trip part of it.
Oh,
Also,
yeah.
you know, they're excited for the move, but they're excited for the road trip part of it. I told them we're gonna like make it fun, you know. So we might go to like Grand Canyon on the way,
Oh,
and
fun.
you know, just I don't know, I'll look up some stuff that's on the way.
And will you take like a big U-Haul or like what's the plan for that?
No, so I found this company that they will drop a semi truck trailer off in front of your house, and you have, I think, 5 days to load it.
Uh-huh.
And then they'll come and pick it up. You have 2 days to give them an address. And then when they deliver it there, you have 3 days to unload it.
Nice. That's really cool.
They will also store it for $900 a month.
Okay.
Is what I heard. I haven't confirmed that with them. But yeah, but it's crazy because I know friends that have moved across the country that have used that company Pods.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, I had a friend tell me that for them to move, it was like $15,000.
Oh, no way.
And this company I found, depending on the size of trailer I need, but for the small one, it would be like $5,000. For the bigger one, it's like $6,000. So it's like way cheaper.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I loaded trucks for a living for a while, so I know how to, because they're like, if your stuff gets broken, it's on you because you didn't load it right. You know what I mean? So fortunately, I feel pretty confident in that. And,
nice. I did not know that was one of your jobs. You've had many.
Well, it was at the cabinet shop I worked at for a while. I was like loading trucks, and even towards the end, like if we needed somebody to do it, I did it. And so I got pretty good at it.
How to
Pardon
get it
me?
all, you know, like the tricks, like how to get it packed just right and stuff.
Yeah, it's like playing Tetris on a big scale for starters, but also like tying things off as, you know, making sure you know what to tie to the wall. But, you know, I was tying cabinets for long hauls that were way more valuable than my stuff, you know, so in some applications. And so it's like, you know, you have to be sure that you don't like that the cabinets don't get damaged or anything. So that was sorry. What's up, honey? Nothing. Okay, I'll be out in a little while. I love you. No, I'm not done because I'm not out there. Sorry. I cannot like prepare them enough for me doing this. Like I'm like, you can have an orange, you can have an apple, you can have a banana. Don't come in the room unless it's an emergency. Like you can do this, you can't do that, you know. So anyway, but yeah, there's still always an interruption. So I apologize for that.
It's all good.
So anyways, yes, I know how to pack. Yeah. And so yeah, I'm getting ready for that. That's super exciting. And yeah, it should be a neat chapter of life. I just want this fresh start. I'm excited about it. And that's going to be my terrible segue into today's topic. We haven't exactly thought of the name, but we're just going to call it for now. Grief is your journey and yours alone, you know, something to that effect. Michelle hasn't thought of a super groovy title yet, but
hey, we'll get it. By the time
it'll be something.
You will know what it's called.
So we're talking about, so you get the idea of what we're talking about, how, you know, for you listening, that going through grief is different for you than it is for anybody else. And I'm sure you've probably noticed that, that, you know, a lot of people will have an opinion on how you're supposed to grieve or things you shouldn't do. And well, it's good to take advice from people. You also have to take everything with a grain of salt. and follow your heart and your prayer life. If you're feeling led to do something and everybody's telling you it's a bad idea, I wouldn't necessarily just agree with them that it's a bad idea, because most people haven't been in your shoes, and that you'll get a lot of people saying like, well, if I was you, I would do this. Or, in my case, I've heard a lot of, well, if I was him, I would do this.
Yeah.
And so, and it goes deeper than that. But what do you think about this topic, Michelle? What are your thoughts on, the grief process being unique to you and only you?
Well, there's so many factors that play in this. Was it a death like you and I had, anticipatory grief? The person's going to die. Was it an instant death like some of our guests have shared? There's like so many factors that there is not, like my counselor always says, there's no timeline on grief. Like there's not a specific time, for the people who are like, you need to be single for 1 year. I mean, what, like we all have different like timelines. You cannot say one blanket statement for all of grief. By month 3, you should be here. By month 6, you should be here. It is not like that. It is different for every person. Today, I made a post about it getting better, and somebody asked me when, how long, and I had to respond to them and say, I don't know for you. It's different for every person. And then so I think this is really important, because I think in grief sometimes, especially if you're involved with like widow groups and stuff like that, you can do a lot of comparing. Oh, they're at 6 months and they're more far along than me. Or, I should be further along. I shouldn't be crying every day. No, you know what? It's your own journey. And then we also have all the different factors of what kind of support do you have? Do you have like church? Do you have friends? Do you have family? Do you believe in God and have the joy of the Lord and all the comfort that we as Christians get from Jesus? And, there's so many factors that you cannot say it is just this way. There's no formula. It's not math. Good thing, because I hate math. But it's like there's no algebra formula for how this is going to work. And so I think that's where we really have to be careful in our grief to make sure people know. Like I do a lot of posting on my TikToks about, like how long it's been for me, but this is me. Like, and I get a lot of judgments of like, oh, that's too soon to date someone else, or or that's not long enough. People are telling me they're either like, people are saying to them like, when are you going to date again? Or you're dating too soon. And usually it's like people, they're not even widows, who say the comments, and they have no idea what it's like to be in our shoes. And grief overall, like grief can be anything. It can be loss of relationship. It can be, I'm not just talking to widows and widowers here today. Like this can be anybody. Like to not judge people, and just that it's such a personal process, that even though you can find someone that's similar, like you and I are similar, we still have different journeys. Like every person, I haven't met one person who has the exact same journey as me.
Right. Yeah. And it's a lot of like another good comparison for how grief is different for everybody is some people want to hold on to their other person's possessions forever. Then there's people like me who like, I knew it was going to be hard someday, so I wanted to get it over with.
Right.
And it's like, well, for me, I looked at it as like, well, it's already very difficult right now. Like, I'll just do the difficult thing right now too, and get rid of all of her stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, I keep all the letters and photos, of course, and things like that. And those are the things that really hurt anyways, when you, the personal items, not necessarily like clothing and stuff, but some people don't want to get rid of their spouse's clothing or whatever it might be. And that's where I first experienced the, people weighing in on your grief.
Yeah.
And, well, I can't believe you got rid of that. And I can't believe it. And it's like, well, it's not because I didn't love her or something. Right. It's just how I'm grieving. It's how I'm dealing with it. And, we're all different. And so just to encourage you guys that however you grieve is just fine. Whatever works for you is just fine. Whether it's, to go out and be around people all the time, or whether you like to be more private, like whatever you want to do, whether you want to post about how sad you are on Facebook or whatever, or whether you don't, and you don't want to tell people. Now, I would encourage you, if you're like keeping it to yourself, to not do that, like share with somebody. just to like let it out and not pretend like there's nothing bothering you. But however you choose to do it is fine, whether you only feel comfortable talking to a stranger and like a counselor, or whether you feel only comfortable talking to a close friend, or whether you want to talk to 100 friends. Like however you grieve is the right way. Whatever works for you is the right way. And we all know ourselves better than anybody else knows us. And so yeah, I just like to encourage in that. And I mean, you and I have even dealt with grief differently in some ways, like, and it doesn't mean, like I took my wedding ring off right away. I did try to wear it on my other finger, but my ring had shrunk. By that, I mean, my finger got fatter. So it was like, part of my left hand.
Yeah.
And it didn't fit well. It was really tight on my right hand. So, I stopped wearing my wedding ring right away, but I do have it on a necklace and I wear that sometimes. But you wore your wedding ring for a year.
And now it's on my right hand.
And now it's on your widowed hand or whatever. What are they? Isn't there like a name? Yeah, not your widowed hand, but isn't there a name for it when you switch it?
I don't know. I've never.
I thought I remember reading something that it's called something, but anyways, yeah. So there's just different things like that. You also, there's also the difference between, like Lacey doesn't have a gravesite, for example. Luke did or does, but you know what I mean. And it's something that you visited once a month, and it's everybody's different. Everybody goes through different things,
Yeah, I wanted to make the 1 year anniversary. I did like a party and a whole thing, and you did it more privately. Like we both, we went through it differently. And I wanted to mention a couple things like about the ring. Yeah, it was just some decision. Like I felt married in the beginning, so I wanted to keep it on. We've talked about this before, but just in case you haven't heard the story. And then I just was like, I don't feel married anymore. And I just made this choice, like when it's a year, I'm going to move it over. And I did. And then even from there, like, so when I was with Joel and we were with some of his friends, the friend's fiance was like, oh, beautiful ring. And it was kind of like a weird moment. Like, it's my wedding ring from, and I didn't know for sure. I'd never talked to her before. Like, I'm like, yeah, I don't know if widowed, which she did, but this is my ring from that marriage. She's like, oh, and then I talked to Joel about it later. Like, was that weird for you? He's like, no, like if you want to wear it for the rest of your life, it's fine. He knows the whole story and how Luke gave it to me in 10 days before he died, and just like the whole story. And he's good with that. Like,
that's awesome.
Yeah. But I think I'm going to save it for, Haley or something. But it was cool that he was like good with that.
Yeah, he's a really secure man for sure.
Exactly. And he was like, I don't care, you can wear it. Because I was like, I told him, I don't know when I'll be ready to take it off. He's like, you don't have to. And I'm sure I will probably before I marry him. But that's just nice to know that he's good with that. And then the other thing I wanted to say is like, yes, however you grieve is okay. But if you are ready to move forward, there are steps you can take. Like, you don't have to stay in the grief, which we talk about in a lot of our other episodes about connecting with people, get a tribe of people to help you, just like different things to help you move forward. Get a counselor, find something that you're passionate about. You can go back to other episodes when we talk about specific things you can do. If you're like, you know what, I'm in my grief, but I feel stuck. Like, what do I do? Go back and listen to some of our other episodes when we talk about, like figuring out who you are and like how to, be passionate about something again, and like things that you can do if you want to move forward. I think that is part of it. You have to be ready to move forward, because sometimes I remember it'd be easier to just stay in the sorrow, look at pictures, listen to Enya and cry. But like, it's true. Enya is just a cry thing,
Yeah. Sometimes it feels good though. Sometimes it feels good to just, and for lack of a better term, to just feel sorry for yourself for a little bit.
You know what? I had one of those days last week. I looked at pictures of Luke. I listened to, I think Enya was one of them, and like some of our old songs just for a few minutes, and then got it out, and then
was it Sail Away?
Sail away, sail away. Maybe, probably, whatever it came up.
I just had to know, because I think that's the only Enya song I know.
Oh, they're so good. Actually, Enya's good for writing too, because it doesn't have a lot of words, so I can like type, and like listen to it. Braveheart's my music of choice for writing that. I love that.
Braveheart?
Yeah, like the music from Braveheart.
Okay.
Like
the Mel Gibson movie?
Yes. Try it if you're gonna write something and you just want that. Like, it's like you go to the rhythms, you're like, you just like get into it. When I wrote my last
but
book,
they'll never take my freedom.
well, we don't say that in the music, but it's like very passionate. So my last book was all written to Braveheart. And anyways,
I'll have to check that out. That's pretty interesting.
Braveheart
That threw me
soundtrack.
off. I'm like, is that an Enya song?
No, it's like Irish music, I guess.
Okay. No, yeah, I could see getting down to that. That's cool.
And it's just so passionate, but there's no words, and it's just like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about, people out there. Braveheart soundtrack. It's a good one.
Yeah, they're feeling you right now.
They're feeling me. They're like, Mark.
I bet there's somebody that's like, oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, I know Braveheart. But I had another grief moment. It's slipping my mind right now. But this past week, that was something. Oh, I know what it was. I had a memory pop up, which memories get you sometimes on Facebook. But I still check them every day because I just like to see. And it was 4 years ago, I think yesterday or the day before, that Luke started chemo. And I had made him a video. So I had sent out all these emails, or maybe I did it Facebook so he couldn't see it. I'm like, hey, will you send me a video so I can make a video for Luke for his first day of chemo? And
I remember you telling me that story.
Yes. So I posted it a few days ago, and it was like all these videos started with me. So I watched me talk to Luke, which was weird. And then my kids' messages, I'm bawling watching them a couple days ago because we were so full of hope. And they were 4 years younger, so they were littler, and they were just like, Daddy, I love you. You're going to get through this. And so I was bawling watching that. And so that threw me into a little bit of grief. But I was able to work through it, momentarily. But it was definitely interesting. You'll have those moments of grief. Anyways.
Absolutely. No, I relate to that. Actually, I don't know why I do this to myself, but it was probably about 2 weeks ago. I think I was on Facebook, and then it's one of my saved videos is Lacey's memorial service. And I don't know why I do it. I know how it's going to make me feel, but I just click it and I watch it. And every single time when it gets to the slideshow, I am just bawling and weeping and trying to pull myself back together. And every time I'm like, why do I do this to myself? But you know what? It's obviously something that's still inside of me.
Yeah.
So I think, it's probably good every now and then to let that cry out, and to just like weep for a while, because it's a massive loss. And sometimes when we go through life, it's like, sometimes you just want to remember, even though it hurts to remember. Sometimes you just want to remember. And I've been going through, because I've been packing and everything, I've been going through tons of her stuff, and I can't help but stop. And I just found this box. Alexis said, oh, what's in there? She saw me getting something down. I said, oh, let me show you. This is my mommy box. Aww. And it's all the letters that we've ever written to each other from when we were dating. And it's interesting. You can see how much she educated me, because I couldn't spell. So my punctuation, my spelling was just horrible. I cringe as I read these notes when we were dating and just think how dumb she must have thought I was. But so I read some of the letters to Alexis, and she thought they were really sweet, and particularly the ones where mommy wrote a letter to me. And I think it was interesting for her because I read a lot of letters from when Lacey and I were dating. And in those letters, we talked about being married and having kids together someday.
Sweet. Yeah.
And so Alexis was kind of like, whoa, that's me she was talking about, but I wasn't even born yet, and
so special for her.
Yeah. And so, I have some things like that. And so, just going through those things, of course, it makes you feel stuff. But, again, when I tell myself, why did I watch that video?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I wanted to, and I did, and I cried, and that's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what I felt like doing, and that's what I did. And, nobody else is on this road for you, but just to encourage us as believers that God is there for you in your grief. And even in those moments where it feels like you're alone, and there are many of those, you're not. Biblically speaking, you're not alone. I love this. Isaiah 25:8 says, he will swallow up death forever. The sovereign Lord will wipe away the tears from all the faces. And Christians have taken comfort in knowing that death is not the end.
Right.
This is a verse, this verse, I'm reading something. This verse is a promise that God made that was fulfilled in the New Testament. And I just love that. I love so much how Christ is like the ultimate redeemer. And I just, for me, one of the biggest things that I would tell to myself, tell myself as I got it. Hold on. Oh my gosh.
Try it again. I think you can do it this time.
From the top. One of the most consistent things I would tell myself, there we go. When I was going through grief is that like my salvation can't be touched.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even. I see you with your MC Hammer.
Can't touch this.
I knew it. I just remembered that as I said it.
Can't touch this.
But that was my like go-to thing, is that I was like, you know what? This is hard. This is difficult. This hurts my heart. It's really sad, but my salvation is untouchable. And yes, I said it that way so that I didn't.
So I can't touch this. That's good. No, it's true. It's good stuff.
It's like no matter what, you know.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to share something about, because it has to do with what we talked about last week, like dating and grief, and like what I found helps me in case other people are in this situation. So I had that morning, I watched the videos before I talked to Joel, and instead of just like hiding it, or I talked to him about it, and then he watched it with me. Like he got on Facebook and we like watched it together, and he asked questions. Okay, who's this person leaving the message?
Wow.
And he was like, I'm like, you don't have to keep watching. He's like, no, this is really interesting because you've talked about these people and I want to see who they are, and like just see like what they're saying to him. And he was very interested in it.
That is awesome.
Yeah, I found that with like everything. Anytime I'm having grief, I do not hide it. I tell him exactly, here, I'm looking at this picture or whatever, and share it with him. And that's been very helpful to not feel alone in it. Mm-hmm.
That's good advice for me, because I really struggle with feeling like anything I ask of anybody is a burden. And whether it's I'm going through grief and I don't want to share it with somebody because I don't want to cause them burden. I don't want to put anything on them. And, it comes from a place of caring, right? But it's wrong. It's definitely wrong. So that's good advice for me too.
The right person. In fact, I didn't even ask him. He just said, hey, let me see the video. And then we did it together. But, and I will ask him sometimes, or like, I think it kind of came from him, like me just saying something, oh, let me see the picture. Let me, and so now it's more natural. Anytime I have grief, we just talk about it, and he shares it with me. And it's so
that's
special.
Amazing.
Yeah. And so advice to everybody, hold out to somebody amazing, for someone amazing like that, who will not just like be okay, but will be part of it. Like, will be part of your grief, part of all of it. And so it's just kind of like this is news for both of us. And so we're learning together how to like navigate grief. And so it's been really awesome just to see how, when I have grief, just to share it with him. And then like just him taking an interest has been really huge. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, thanks. Little side note. And you guys know what I'm going to say. What we feel, we can heal. And so don't hold back. Like if you are having those grief, you like feel like you're gonna have grief, just let it go. Like don't sing it. You were
like Frozen.
I knew we were
let it go.
I knew
let it go.
That was really good. I think you should start a band.
I've been told that I should be a glam rock singer.
I think so. I think you'd be like widowed glam rock singer. Like maybe people would be like, oh, he's widowed. Like we should listen to him. I don't know.
Sympathy listens,
and then you could post your crying selfies, and it'd be awesome.
Listen to me or you're evil.
Yes. Anyways, back to our subject.
No, let's talk more about me and my music career. That's what I want to talk about.
I want you to do a little Eminem real quick. And go.
I don't know if I can do anything that will be okay on air.
Exactly. Exactly. Anyways, okay, back to our subject. Grief is personal. What are some examples that you have seen of grief that may be completely different than how you're doing it, but still okay? Not to put you on the spot or anything, just wonder if you can think of any from all the groups we've been in.
Yeah, well, okay, so gosh, I mean, it kind of is on the spot because I'm trying to think, and that's okay. That's okay. I'm just, I'm, apologizing for the pause, but I'm trying to think of ways I've seen people grieve that's different than me. And I'm not a sentimental person.
Oh, yeah.
So I have seen a lot of sentimental things that, I do, of course, the notes and things like that, but I don't think that's sentimental as much as it is like, I guess it is a form of being sentimental, because I was going to say they're important to me because she wrote them to me. But I've seen a lot of people sentimental about possessions, and I don't really have that. I can pretty much let things go and have no attachment to them as far as the connection. And I will say that that's not always true, because I actually, one of the things that I was selling was my mountain bike, which was a gift from her to me. Oh. And I had somebody make me the offer of the price that I was asking after having multiple lowballers. And I still haven't heard back from him, so I hope he's not upset, because we talked a lot about it. And then I finally told him this morning that I was like, you know what, I'm so sorry, man, but like, I can't sell it. It's like, just the thought of letting it go isn't worth the money to me. And so, hopefully he's not too upset about it, but whatever. It's my bike. It's my bike, punk. You ever seen the movie Friday?
Long time ago.
Yeah, it's not really
not really appropriate.
Yeah, not really appropriate for our podcast, but whatever. I've seen a lot of movies that are not. So anyways, no, so yeah, I mean, there's I guess I can't think of anything specific off the top of my head, but some people are much more public about it than I am. Yeah. Some people hold on to it longer than I do in a lot of ways. And none of those things are wrong. It's just not my style, and so I don't know. Can you think of anything specific?
Well, yeah, I have some thoughts coming to my head, and it's not that they're wrong, because I don't think there's a wrong way, but they're not the healthiest. Kind of like some of our other episodes, where people are, turning to like sex, or turning to drinking or drugs, or like whatever, that, because people, when they're not going to God and looking to Jesus to fill any kinds of voids, like they're going to go down the wrong path of things that will temporarily maybe like ease the pain, but they're not going to get you past grief. You're going to stay in grief. Like, you're going to do the things which complicate, which we talked about more like in the dating episode, and it's going to make the grief worse. And so even though we're saying there's no wrong way to grieve, I guess we could say there are healthier ways to grieve.
Yeah, things less encouraged or whatever. I mean, we're not here to tell anybody what to do or to judge anybody or whatever, but trying to fill your life with things to distract you from feeling it is not really grieving.
Exactly.
And it's a very noticeable thing in these widow groups that we've been in, is that they'll talk about how they've put on 30 pounds because they just go out drinking all the time, or the promiscuous things they've done or whatever, which again is none of my business. I don't care. I don't judge people, but it's true though that it's going to cause more pain, and I've experienced that firsthand, that doing things to, like you said, fill a void, are not going to help at all. And it's, I think I talked about it in a previous episode that I thought it was a good idea to start smoking pot again in the beginning. And I thought it was going to help me, and it just made it worse. It made it worse because, first of all, I don't want my kids seeing that,
Right.
And I don't want them, I mean, of course they're too young. They don't know what it is, but like, still, I don't want them to even get to an age where they're like, what's that smell, or whatever. Yeah. And so I stopped, fortunately. It's been a long time now, but that was something that I was trying to find comfort in. I think I talked about it in the counterfeit comfort episode.
Yes.
And so, but I do see a lot of people doing that. And fortunately, the Lord has taken that desire away from me, because it's lingered for a long time, where it just seemed like, oh, well, I could just do that. I could just do that. And fortunately, it no longer pops into my head as something I want to do. But so yeah, there's things you can do that are not necessarily wrong.
Right.
As far as a way to grieve, like, it might work for some people, if they're dealing with anxiety and depression and stuff, if smoking pot helps them, if it's used as a medicine, you can definitely argue that it's okay in the Bible, because I would much rather hear about somebody that was smoking pot to help them with depression than taking pharmaceutical drugs or whatever that have like a bunch of like side effects. Again, though, like, that's their prerogative, that's their business. It works better for them. But there are wrong ways to deal with things. Like, I guess what we're trying to say is that, like, if you're not actually dealing with the grief and you're pushing it away by turning to something else, that's probably counterproductive and not right. But it doesn't mean that, you're grieving wrong. It just means you're not actually grieving usually. You're pushing it, you're kicking the can down the road, hoping that when the excitement of a lot of people, a very common one is shopping. A lot of people that are not interested in drugs or alcohol or sex or whatever, they start going on Amazon, or they start going to the store and going to Saks Fifth Avenue or whatever, Nordstrom's, whatever it might be. And, spending a ton of money. I also went through that, where I was like, just buying all kinds of stuff. And, I'm kind of it wasn't like expensive stuff, but it would be like, I wanted that new Amazon package to show up on my porch with a new tool in it or whatever that I could be excited about. And again, you're not dealing with the grief. You're trying to fill the void with something else. So anyways, I didn't mean to go off on a rant about that.
It's like getting to what is the root of why I'm doing these things. Like for me, and I talked about this in the dating episode, like male attention or like whatever, like, why am I doing this? Because I have this void in my life. And, for what we believe as Christians, Jesus, God, that's the only thing that's going to fill that void, is going to him for comfort. And it's something that's hard to explain to other people, but it's like this indescribable peace and joy that you cannot describe. Like, to the outside world, we should be like crying all the time and not joyful. And but it's because of the hope that he's given us in the future, in heaven, in salvation, in just the beauty of every day. I think we also appreciate every day more. I know I do. And I think that's why I'm finding so much joy in this new relationship with Joel, is because I have been to the most awful places. And to be able to feel joy again, I feel like I'm feeling it like a million times more. And not just in the relationship with him, but just like life. I remember when I started coming back to life again a few months after Luke died, and everything, it's like it took a little while, but the joy is like, I appreciate things so much more. But going back to like the filling the voids and all of that stuff, it's just like getting to the root. Why, a good way to do that is journal. Like, my counselor really challenges me with things. If I'm like doing certain behavior, she's like, okay, what's the root of that? Why are you doing that? And really spending some time like journaling it out, thinking about it, find a trusted friend to talk to, or a counselor is highly recommended, and figure out what is this deep feeling that I'm doing. And it's just like, there's not a wrong way to grieve, but you can do things that will complicate your life. Like I talk to my kids, like I'm very open like about sex, and like God has rules because he wants to save us from these big problems that can happen. Like it's not because he's like, you can't have sex, you can't do this, you can't. It's because it's a way to help us to not complicate our lives. And that's what I feel about all the ways you could grieve too. You could turn to drugs, you could turn to alcohol, but those are going to complicate your lives and they're not going to solve the problem. You have to get to what is the root of why I'm doing these things, and then try to find healthier ways to deal with it, like finding good friends, pouring into God and praying and getting comfort from God. Like, there really, like we talk about in Counterfeit Comfort, there really isn't anything else that's going to solve this. Like, there are things that can help us, like having good friends in church and just all of that. But Jesus is really the only thing that's going to help us, because I have truly seen in my life, he has turned my mourning into dancing. He has turned he turned beauty into ashes. I mean, the other way around, he's made beauty from ashes. And I've truly seen this. And it is not me. I feel like, you're so strong. I'm like, this is God's healing. In fact, I did a post about that today, that yes, there are times when I'm not smiling and I feel grief, but it's because I had a broken heart. I don't feel like I have one anymore. I had a broken heart, but God came in and healed all the cracks in my heart and now I'm able to move forward. And so it's just a process, and like getting to the root of what is going to help you move forward.
Yeah. And well, I like this. I was looking for this Bible verse because I couldn't remember what it was, but John 16:22 says, now is your time of grief, but I will see you again and you will rejoice and no one will take away your joy.
Yes. Love it.
I am so waiting for that exact timing of God's. It's exciting though, but you know, one thing we've learned is I've learned a lot from this personal experience of going through insanely dark times and very, very difficult situations, that God is there with you and will carry you through. And it's, you know, I've seen it time and time again. So I know that these Bible verses are true. I know that that verse I just read is the truth, and that God will restore my joy also, even though I didn't have the same, you know, like promise, like, you know what I mean? Like the specific promise you had that he will restore your joy. I haven't had that. But it says right there that he will. And so I know he will. And I know a lot of people that want to see me get married again someday. And, you know, I would love that, but I also don't want to rush it. And, because I did want to. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to not want to, when the thought of how much simpler my life would become again if I was married again. It sure is appealing, you know, to think about somebody helping me with the kids, to think about that I could just go find any full-time job and can make some serious money again. And like, just whatever it might be, like, obviously having a spouse makes your life simpler. But that doesn't mean that I just want to rush into it because it would make my life simpler. Because that's not right. And it's not fair to anybody. And but I long for that day. And like I said, I know a lot of people want to see me get remarried someday, which is awesome. I have a lot of really encouraging people. And that's something I feel bad for a lot of people, that they've you know, they have to deal with people that basically seemingly want them to be alone forever. In the ways that they, you know, talk to other people that, like, they're not in their shoes. Like, it's funny when you've told me about some of the people that have said negative things to you online. I'm like, well, are they even widowed? And you're like, no. And I'm like, wow, that's so funny. That's hilarious that they think that their advice is like matters, you know. I mean, sorry, I'm getting a little worked up about it, because it bothers me when people who have no idea what it's like to be in your shoes seem to think that they know what they would do if they were in your shoes. And it's like, well, until you have walked down this road firsthand, then you really don't know what you're talking about, you know. And,
and I pray you never have to walk down it.
Absolutely. You know? I sure hope that too, because it's dark and difficult, and I wouldn't wish this upon anybody. You know, I mean, God is faithful and takes care of us and stuff, but man, not a day goes by that I don't miss my darling wife, and like just wish that things were different. But you can't stay there. You know, I let myself think it for a minute, and then I'm like, but that all happened. That's my reality. This is the hand I've been dealt. Push forward, you know, and I try my best. I'm definitely not perfect at it, but I'm going to pretend like I'm perfect for all of you in the audience. Because I want to encourage you to be perfect.
No, it's, you know what? It's your authenticity that makes you want to listen, you know, like you're real about it. And I think that's the important part when we're talking to other people, is to be real, keeping it real. Didn't we have
I thought it was my singing that kept people here.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
To be honest, or my 90s references.
It's like, it's all that. It's all combined.
Okay. All right. Just making sure.
But keeping it real. That was a great title too. You know, it's just, I think that we need to love and embrace each other where we're at with our widow journey, and lock arms and do this together. And like, it was interesting though, in some of the TikTok posts, man. So one has almost 2 million views because people are fighting in the comments. I'll just let them go, you know, because I get
keep
more
raking in those views.
Right, whatever. They just keep going, but it's these widows stick together. And then a couple of them have done like reactions where they take my video, where they react to the comment online and like, we widow sisters stand together. You don't put down one of us, you put down all of us. And like, it's a
Wow,
whole
that's
thing going
awesome.
on. It's like, there's tons of these widows who like come to speak up for me and come to like attack the person. There was somebody named Lisa who left a rude comment like, well, that didn't take long, or something about me dating too soon. And then this girl's like, her name is Lisa. She's like, from Lisa's everywhere. I'm so sorry. And like so many great comments. I feel this awesome camaraderie with widows and widowers, both, when we are able to just like share, it's like with this thing we've been through and you're just automatically connected.
Yeah, it's like, it's kind of like when you meet another Christian.
Yes.
That you just know that you just have this bond.
Yeah.
And I have felt the same way about widows and widowers. One of my friend's moms has been widowed a long time. I don't know exactly how long, but much longer than me. But it's like even though we're, slightly different age brackets, we have this strong connection just because we both know things that other people can't understand and have been through things that other people can't understand. And, it is like we're part of this club. All of you listening that are widowed or, are part of this club that nobody else can really understand unless they are part of it. And, it's not something that any of us wanted to sign up for or anything. It's not like a cool club, like all the other clubs I'm in.
Right.
But it's one of those things that it takes having walked through. Well, a lot of people could visualize what it's like.
Yeah.
But there's a whole different,
being
able to visualize it versus having to feel it in your heart, the reality of it, not like because anybody could picture what it'd be like to lose their spouse, but to actually feel it in your heart and to live it and to have to do all the things that we have to do by ourselves. There is no accounting for that in your imagination.
Right. Didn't you try to picture it before Lacey died? Did you picture what it would be like? Because I know I tried.
Absolutely.
There's nothing what it's really like,
because I knew it was coming, of course, like you did. And so, of course we pictured like, well, what is it going to be like when this happens? And it was nothing like what I thought. Absolutely nothing like what I thought, because there's so many things that you can't possibly factor in,
right?
Just in your imagination versus when it becomes reality. There's so many things that you don't think about that you couldn't, because you don't know what it's like to go. I mean, just for dumb examples, but like to go make the big decisions by yourself, like buying a car. Moving out of state is something I've, been dealing with, is that I'm like, whoa, I'm doing this like alone, moving, like anything, like any of the little stuff, or I mean, big stuff like that, but even little stuff like, oh yeah, now I have to be the one, like in your situation, now I have to be the one to mow the lawn.
Yeah.
I have to be the one to figure it out when a sprinkler's broken or the dishwasher's broken or whatever it might be, that the many things that I've, walked through you with and tried to explain over the computer.
You have helped immensely.
But and those are the like simple things. Those are the things that everybody probably thinks about. But the actually having to explain it to your children, to walk through grief with them, to deal with their dark, scary, hard moments. Those are the things that you can't explain to somebody, or you can't really picture what it's like to have your kids cry to you that they miss mommy or they miss daddy. You can't picture what that's like. You have to feel what that's like in order to understand it. And anyways, babble
fast. No, I think that's good. Do you have anything else to say on this subject of personal journey?
No,
I
could think of stuff to talk about more, but no, I think we kind of got the point across what we were talking about, that the main thing is that it's your journey. It's your pain. You do you, boo.
You do you, boo, in the grief cycle, like grief journey.
Yeah, people out there in grief land. It's your journey. And
nobody else's.
It's nobody else's. Yeah.
Nobody. Don't let them tell you what to do. You're thinking of a song right now. I can see it on
I
your
am
face.
totally thinking of a song. Wow, you got that. I was like,
I know your
it's
song face.
nobody.
Nobody what's the song
No,
about?
it's like nobody.
Nobody.
I'm
Ain't
totally
nobody
drawing a
gonna
blank on what
hold
I'm thinking
me
of.
down. Oh no.
That's a good
Got
one.
to keep on moving.
Gosh, what is the song I'm thinking of?
Gonna come to you.
Yeah, it'll come to me when we
Your
end this.
song
That's
face.
okay. I don't need to let everybody
Next
wait
week,
for me to figure
everybody.
this out. Next week. Stay
Next week.
tuned
Stay
for
tuned
what
for the
Mark was
song.
thinking of.
But I want to close with this, and then you can close in prayer. But like, it's your, like, for real, being serious. Like, this is your journey. Don't let anybody tell you you're doing it right or wrong. Like, it really is super personal. Don't compare, because this is your journey. And I just want to encourage you to just keep on keeping on. Like, you're going to get there. You're going to get through this. You're going to get to where it's not so bad anymore. I did this TikTok yesterday where I was running, and I was like, vision came to me, probably God. And I stopped and did a little video about, like, I thought there's building another neighborhood, like part of my neighborhood. And I stopped in this dirt. And I'm like, this is what grief feels like, all this dirt and this mud. But eventually, and then I pointed towards the new houses, like, it will be like this. Like, it's not always going to feel like this. Like, it's going to get easier. And that's the biggest thing I want to encourage you, is that your grief is going to get easier, and keep on keeping on, boo.
Yep. Keep on trucking.
Life's
a garden, dig it.
Oh my gosh. I've never heard that. That goes in cheesy dad jokes. Like, 100%.
That's from Joe Dirt.
Oh, I haven't seen that one in a long time. But that's a cheesy dad joke. So why don't you want to close us out?
Yes, I will. I'm still trying to think of that song. And that's okay. I'm just gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go.
Let's go.
There it is. Okay.
Okay.
I thought there was one more thing I was going to say about what you just said, though. Sorry. Don't get on your paraphrase yet. So there was
already, but go ahead.
Something you were saying about the grief journey being extremely personal. There was something I thought of that I wanted to add. Anyways, you can go ahead and put back on your paraphrase, because I can't remember. So
are you having like memory problems recently?
I think I am. I think I need some ginkgo biloba or something. Isn't that for memory?
What is that?
It's like a herbal supplement. It's supposed to help you with your memory.
You just made that up.
No, it sounds like it though.
It does sound like you made that up.
That's a total Mark makeup thing.
It sounded like it.
Oh, wait, I remember the song. No. Yeah, right?
No, I don't know that. What's the
nobody can do the boogaloo like you do.
Do not know the boogaloo song.
Oh, what?
Is that like 90s?
Hold on.
Your favorite time period.
You're gonna know what I'm talking about.
Nobody does the.
I remember it because it's the intro to The Office in season 7.
Okay.
Season 7.
Boogalooga.
Episode 1.
How do you even remember which season in the episode? Like,
because I've seen The Office, like, oh my gosh, so many times.
I have not.
Okay, ready? I think it's wait for it.
Okay, I'm waiting.
There's an ad. Okay, skipping.
We're so excited. Maybe. No. I got it.
You know it now?
I think maybe, or just yeah, I think so. What year is that?
Right here.
Oh wait, hold on. Okay, shingling, not boogaloo.
No, wait for it.
Oh. You're right. Can't argue with your lyrics.
Okay. I'm so glad I thought of that, because I was like, there's a song. It's like nobody. Anyways.
You got it. Good job. Now the whole world can move forward. All of our listeners, because you got it. You win.
And I did not even take ginkgo biloba. I remembered the other thing I was going to say. That if you are even where as far out as Michelle and I are, and after losing your spouse, and you still don't feel like laughing, that's okay too. That's what I was going to say, because it made me think of it when you said comparing to other people's grief, because I know you and I did that a lot in the beginning, as we'd talk about, like these people are, 3 months out and they're already dating again. And for us, that was like hard to comprehend at that time. So anyways, There we go. All of my problems have been solved.
Ginkgo biloba not needed, or whatever it's called.
I like ginkgo biloba. That's a good one.
But what is it really?
Ginkgo biloba.
Okay.
I think, honestly, I don't know. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Wow. That was like 10 minutes of very unnecessary material. So thanks for putting up with all of that and my memory issues.
You know, they might have pushed fast forward, you know, where you can do the 30 seconds ahead, you know, on the podcast. They might.
Y'all better not have done that.
Did you guys do that? Or put it on like times 2, so we're like really fast.
I do that anyways when I listen to things, so that I can try to like finish it. Because you know how sometimes like when I was driving to work in the mornings, you would have me listen to the episodes beforehand, before they were launched. And just to make sure when our recording quality was lower. Anyways, I used to have to put it on, I think 1.5.
Yes.
So that I could get it done by the time I got to work.
Yeah.
And honestly, like I would realize, I'm like, wow, this is weird. I actually sound normal. And I'm like, I must talk really slow, because at 1.5 times speed, I feel like I still sound normal. So anyways,
you don't talk.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways,
we're going to pray.
Let's like,
are we ready? Okay.
Bring it back.
All right. Father, I thank you so much for everybody here listening. It's such a blessing for us, for Michelle and I's grief, to get to talk about it. And we just hope that you use it to help others. We hope that we can provide some kind of joy and you know, these tough times, and that just that you are there for everybody, just as you promised you would be. And we pray for everybody to just have strength to go to you, to come to you first, and you know, to just to be able to block out how anybody thinks that they should grieve, and for them to just have the courage, as I also would like, and Michelle would also like, to have the courage to just not be worried about what other people think about the way we're grieving. Yeah, you're just an incredible God that just gives us gifts every day. And I pray that we are able to see those even in our dark times. So we thank you for our salvation. It is the greatest gift that anybody has ever received ever. And we thank you for loving us and for caring about us, even though we're as minuscule as a piece of sand. And we pray all of these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Well, thanks everybody for listening to us today. We're still always looking for guests. We love it when people share their stories. So if you'd like to be a guest, you can email us at widowedtoosoonm@gmail.com. And that's a number 2 in the middle. You can also find us at Instagram. There's links in the show notes to all of this. Instagram, it's widowedtoosoon_. Facebook, all the places. We're just thankful that you are here and listening, and it's encouraging to us that this is helping you. So, you know, we'll continue to keep praying for you on your widow journey, and we will look forward to talking to you next week. Oh yeah, if you like this episode, I mean, we can't not do this.
You can't not do it.
Give it a little bing, 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or anywhere you listen. If you so cheesy.
Such a commercial voice. I love it.
Well, we've done this is 33 times, so it's kind of getting in my mind.
Something like that.
Anyways, if you'd like to leave a review, we'd love it too, to hear your words. This is not just like so commercially right now. It's not just for us. It's to help get the word out to the other people just like you, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Anyways.
Coming this Friday to theaters near you.
Pretty close. All right, guys. We will see you again next time. Bye.
Bye. Thank you. God bless.
Bye.